Hello, it's UN Clean Energy Day. This is Ines from the EIA climate team, climate campaigner on fossil fuels. So let's get into it. Fossil fuels are by far the main driver of climate change today. They're driving immense impacts on our planet and our economies. So they've been warming our climate, acidifying oceans. But then there's also some other impacts that we don't hear about as much. For example, the health impacts. They've been driving a lot of premature death in the millions actually every year. And if we continue burning fossil fuels at this pace, we'll fundamentally disrupt the ecosystems of our planet. It will disrupt our economies. It will fundamentally impact our ways of living. And so the future generations and the people in underprivileged communities will be the first affected as well. But the good news is there's actually a very obvious solution to many of these problems, which are renewables, energy renewables like solar and wind and hydropower. So these are some of the solutions that we're trying to advance at EIA. So the key to actually accelerating the transition away from fossil fuels and the scaling up of renewable energy is actually for governments to adopt the frameworks that are going to give everyone the confidence to invest in renewables, mainly because if you want to transition away from fossil fuels, you're going to need the buy-in of many different sectors of the economy. You're going to need to also plan over like several decades. So this is what we're working on at EIA, is to talk to the policymakers, to coordinate with the financial sectors, to adopt these plans over that long-term period that we were just talking about, and to stick with it. And in practice, that also means that we are creating the right enabling environment for countries to transition away from fossil fuels. So that means technical support for governments to adopt the plans, to think about the policies, to think about how are they going to upscale at the government level. But that also means the delivery of the finance so that it actually responds to the need of governments and economic sectors in all these different places in the world, because each country has a different need and a different transition plan. In 2026, we have quite a busy agenda. Transition away from fossil fuels has been rising on the agenda of many governments in the past year. So there's going to be the first ever conference on the transition away from fossil fuels happening in Colombia in April. So obviously very important conversations, and the objective of all of them is also to tie them and link them together so that there is momentum over time and we actually get on doing things.